Yo, welcome everybody back to the JV Sports Room. As usual, your host, JDino, the other half of the team behind the scenes, my man Vince.
Yeah.
Holding down the Kobe corner. Big J, welcome back to the show.
By popular demand, we back. Kobe, we here.
Small lineup going on right now. So in the starting center spot, my man Javi's back for the show.
Good. Running the small ball today.
Yes, sir, small ball. We got the NFL draft that we're going to, talk about a little later. So stay tuned, NFL fans. But we're going to tip it off in the NBA because that's where it's popping right now. Dope first round, I would say, right? Let's run through it real quick. All right, yeah. Miami, they stomped Atlanta out in 5 games, right?
Saw that coming.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Thought so. Milwaukee kind of did the same thing with Chicago.
Yeah, I think we're maybe a year too early on Chicago. They showed promise early in the season, but when it came down to playoff basketball, we always mentioned defense, and they just kind of lacked what we've been mentioning all year is that interior force on defense, and it showed its face.
Yep. I don't even know if Lonzo Ball was there, if that would have made like a huge difference. Nah. He would have added some defense, but it was also hard to see.
A big man in the middle on defense. We talked about that, right?
Yep. Patrick Williams ain't cutting it.
Nah. Chicago's done. Boston stomping out Brooklyn. I mean, I know I didn't see that one coming.
I don't think nobody's seen that. It was hard to see something online or any takes that was like, yeah, I got Boston in 4.
Nah, Rudy saw it. Rudy saw it.
Yeah. Rudy saw it.
Shouts to Rudy. Yo, you seen it, kid?
He called it in like 6.
We're going to eat our words, man. I came on the show and I said, KD, don't let us down. And he let us down, man. I think the big thing we need to understand is, like, these are men, right? These are grown men. And wear and tear, age never loses. Like, age is going to come back to haunt him. We're talking about Kevin Durant, who came into the league super undersized. Really hasn't changed. I mean, gained a little bit of weight, but really hasn't changed his body to the way where he can withstand all these injuries and banging year in, year out. And I think we're kind of seeing the decline in the superstar Kevin Durant, man. I don't think his body can hold up with these young, stronger, more athletic guys in the league.
No, you hit on it. Stronger. I think that's the thing, is he's just getting beat up by a lot of these guys, man. The physical defenders, they guard him one-on-one, and anybody else, they come in with quick double teams. And
for sure.
Yeah. Shout to KD, man. We're seeing the decline a little bit. Philly, they had a little bit of scare towards the end there with Toronto, but they closed it out, right?
That was spooky, man. I wish, even though I really, really, really wish Fran VanVleet was there, but, Philly done what we all thought, even though I did have Toronto in about 6 or 7, but it was tough, man. It was tough.
It was a win and a loss, if you really think about it, because, yeah, you win the series, but you lose Joel Embiid for the beginning of the next series with the facial fracture and the concussion. So, it's going to linger into this series, and we'll definitely touch that, but definitely saw that one coming as well.
Yeah. Even with, he had a torn ligament the whole series, and he was still hooping. He had that little corner 3, and I forget what game that was for the win.
Yeah.
So he's just fighting through the injuries and still showing up. So I got to shout out Joel Embiid.
Facts. And over on the West Coast, Phoenix, they beat up on New Orleans. I feel like they gave Devin Booker just enough time to get back is all they did.
Yeah.
but shouts New Orleans, man. They put up a fight.
They did.
They put up a fight. A little surprising series for me personally. I thought it was going to be a little bit easier, but the New Orleans boys, the arrow's definitely pointed up for them. I see a bright future.
They definitely got a bright future.
Not much of a fight over in Denver. They got smacked up by Golden State. Kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah, that's why personally I had Jokic to MVP, because if you lock him up, you got Will Barton and Austin Rivers and I'm not even sure who else.
DeMarcus Cousins.
So that was bad, yeah. DeMarcus was getting like 20 minutes, so that was just bad, man.
Jokic needed help, man. He needed help.
That was a mismatch.
It wasn't much for us to watch that series.
A little bit of a better series. Memphis and Minnesota. That was a fun one to watch, if nothing else.
I said it, man.
It was great and heartbreaking. I hate seeing a team get up 20 points and then they lose the lead. I'm just like, that you're just immature. Mm-hmm. It could be part of it is the coach. Mm-hmm. There was just a lot of things that factor into you losing that 20-point lead or 25. That's just sucks.
But that's the playoffs. I know I mentioned it weeks ago where the regular season you can lose games like that and just we'll forget about it and move on to the next game. In the playoffs, it's about runs. Can you withstand the run? Can you continue on your run, whether it's game by game or quarter by quarter?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw game in and game out, Minnesota, they couldn't figure out how to close out their run. They'll go on a big run, and then they'll get to start the yapping and this and that, and then they'll end up losing their run.
It seems like that's what their leader, Cat, does a lot of,
It's
right?
a young mind, man.
Yeah.
And I got to throw some dirt on the coach. I think there was a 20-point run Memphis went on, and there wasn't one timeout called.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think
remember
no
to
other
start that fourth
coach,
quarter.
no other coach would have did that.
Mhm.
No other coach. I don't know.
At all.
What's
But
going
shout
on
out to
there?
Memphis, too. They
Yeah,
gained a lot of maturity in that series. It was, their first playoff series win. So shout out to them. Shout out to Ja handing his most improved player trophy off to Desmond Bane, because without Desmond Bane, they don't win that series.
That's a fact.
It's crazy what he's been doing. Last year, most of us probably didn't even really know who Desmond Bane was. And then if you miss the game and look on the stat sheet, you'll see Desmond Bane probably has either the most points or the best field goal percentage with his baby arms. Shout out to Desmond Bane, man. Shout out to Desmond Bane. I'm a big fan.
Facts,
Yeah.
so, and then Dallas surprisingly beats up on Utah.
man.
I mean, it's not a surprise they beat them. It's a surprise they beat them so bad, I think, especially without Luka the first couple games.
Yeah, that was surprising. That was definitely surprising. Jalen Brunson, locked down the first 2 games for them. They get Luka back, and like we always say, superstar players. That's all it takes in the playoffs, man. And Luka stepped up and finished that series out pretty easily.
Jazz out of there.
Very easily.
And
It's
to be
gonna be
honest with
good.
you, they're going to probably try to break that up, huh? You
Yeah,
think?
this is a good series to look at and be like, this is going to impact next season a lot.
Mhm.
Like, Jalen Brunson needs a bag.
Mhm.
And I think Rudy Gobert was already on the record saying either I'm leaving or Donovan Mitchell's leaving.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's
So
gonna
I think
happen.
everybody should
Where
be
there's
leaving
smoke,
at
there's
this point.
fire, man.
Yeah.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yep. But moving on into the next round, Jazz are out of there, but now Dallas moves on to play these Phoenix Suns.
Tough.
Yeah.
First couple games looking like Dallas can't quite keep up, right?
No.
The boys are back together, man. The
Yep.
band is back together in Phoenix. Chris Paul, Devin Booker. It's going to be a tough hill for Luka to climb.
Yeah. I just think he, at the end of the day, he don't have enough tools to beat what the Suns have. You got Jalen Brunson's going to step it up, but like we have been seeing, whether it's the first series or this series, when Luka's on that court, Jalen Brunson kind of got to take the back seat a little bit.
Right.
And I think we're going to keep seeing that. The same thing with Spencer Dinwiddie. You're going to be hooping, but Luka's still going to be the big dog, and you kind of got to take the back seat a little bit.
And also, I think like Rudy said about those Boston Celtics on the other side, Phoenix, they play offense and defense.
Yeah.
They'll clamp you up, and but then they'll outscore you in a heartbeat as well, man. So Dallas having a tough time keeping up with them.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. You got pretty much a defensive player of the year candidate over there. So, and you still got, CP is out here breaking records at 30-something years old, 14 for 14, not missing a shot, making history.
Yeah.
And that game, Devin Booker wasn't fully healthy, still got the dub. Ayton's still trying to, pitch in here and there, and it's going to be good, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough.
All right, so the other 2 teams in the West battling it out, them veteran Golden State Warriors taking on them young Memphis Grizzlies. Golden State steals one in Memphis, so now they're going back to Golden State 1-1. How you guys feel about this series?
This series, man. This series.
This is fun, man.
This is fun.
The fans are going to get what they wanted in playoff basketball.
Pretty sure we're
this
going to have a
series
close
right
one
here.
every single game, man.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. This is Golden State Warriors, who have years and years and years of being great. Being the top of the Western Conference. Now we got them all healthy. And plus the addition of the pool party, Jordan Poole.
Them boys are having a pool party.
Yeah.
man.
Most improved to me. That's a different combo.
Yo.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah,
Also improved.
I can definitely see that argument. I wouldn't argue with you, man, but this is a dog series, man. This is a big series for Ja Morant, to be able to, you're the number 2 seed at the end of the day. So you should be favored. Now you have to go to Golden State and try to scratch and claw one out, man. It's going to be difficult. Man, what a series.
It's gonna be tough, but this is the series I'm most excited for by far. All of the swag I've been seeing, all the grittying all over the court. I want to see the same energy.
Yeah.
Continue it. Just like Jay said, this is a big series for Ja. Last year he was a star. This year, we could probably say he's
Superstar.
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
Superstar.
So
sure.
Ja's
Yeah.
evolving. They got a squad, man. Desmond Bain is last year. We didn't really even know who Desmond Bain was. They didn't have Jaren Jackson. They got a good squad. They got one of the best coaches in the league. This is the fan favorite right here, man. We're gonna get what we want as far as playoff basketball. But I got the Warriors in 5.
They gonna win the next 3 straight?
I think they're gonna win the next 3 straight. Clay and Steph didn't do much as far as what we, their average, what we expect from them. Clay barely scoring double digits, missing 2 free throws, doing stuff like that.
But I mean, to counteract that, Desmond Bain really didn't pop off.
Yeah.
This series is unlocking Jaren Jackson Jr. First series, he got kind of foul trouble because you got Cat and they're running big ball. Now with Golden State, they're a little bit smaller. Jaren Jackson can get out there, play in perimeter more. Man, 5 games. That's
I got him in 5.
That's the ballsy call. I like it.
I don't think, if I had a bet, I don't think Jaren Jackson's going to have that game 1 the whole series again.
Right.
We seen the game 2. He had a decent game, but it was nothing like game 1. We're probably not going to see Steven Adams much.
Nah,
that's random, but I mean,
it's not the series for him. Small ball over in Golden State. I can't say 5. I can't say 5, man. It's these games are good, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, I don't even think the fans want to see it be done in 5. This is one of the favorites, man. So I got them in 6. I give Memphis another one, man. I don't see them having that second go-to guy late in the game. Like you said, Golden State's got so many, man. Yeah. And like you said, they're having a pool party. You know what I'm saying? And they're inviting Steph Chef Curry and his Splash brother. So Draymond's back in this past game, and obviously he made a difference. But
one of the little things.
Memphis pulled that one out. But
it's going 7, folks. It's going 7. Ja Morant is going to will this team. This is going to be his coming out party to show the world, yes, I'm here. I have arrived. I'm a superstar. I just beat one of the greatest teams probably this past 10 years. And he's going to continue to point and look at Jonathan Kuminga, whoever it is, and say, he can't guard me.
I want to see it, man. I want to see it.
He going to put another one on somebody's head, man.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Guys, man, he's fun for sure.
This is a fun series. It'd be a shame if it goes less than 7.
I need to see it.
Just for the entertainment factor.
I see a lot of
we
dancing.
Going back to the Bay, man, and Dub Nation, man. They one of the best records in the league this year at home.
Right.
So I mean, give me Golden State in 6, closing it out in the Bay in 6.
It's gonna be good. There's a lot of pressure on Ja. There's a lot of pressure on Ja. He's probably one of the most talked about players this year. He's I guess MVP conversation, 1 most improved. So I need to see it. He's hasn't been crazy from 3. I need you to see. I need to see you step it up. I need to see you be that guy.
Yeah.
I need you to see you be the big dog.
All right. So over in the East, we got the Bucks, the champs, taking on Boston. They split in Boston. Series tied at 1-1. What you guys liking this one?
I still got the Celtics, man. I ain't gonna lie, I may be a little biased from that first round because what they did, I don't think none of us seen here, especially in the JV Sports Room besides Rudy. But I think I got the Celtics in 6 or 7. I don't feel too confident saying that. But, Jason Tatum, that first game, he had a bad game. Jaylen Brown had a bad game. Pritchard made some good shots first round. We didn't see Pritchard too much. All of the, we seen Grant Williams locking up first round. Robert Williams. I think we're going to continue to see Al Horford play good defense on Giannis. That first game, he was locking Giannis up. It was just Giannis turned into a good playmaker. I got to give Giannis that, man. He's making some good passes. He's evolving as a player. I got
Big J. You with him?
I think no. I still got the defending champs. I think They did what they needed to do. They withstood the bully ball. They gave it back.
Right.
So, but at the end of the day, I think there's going to be too much Giannis willing his team to win. I like what this Boston team is doing. This team is very promising. I just want to definitely give a shout out to Emi Udoka, the head coach for Boston, being able to make the adjustments. We talk about in the playoffs, it's all about making the adjustments. You mentioned with Milwaukee making the adjustments in their lineup. Now, we're seeing the same thing with Boston. But at the end of the day, I still think Milwaukee's going to win this series. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. We may go 6.
This is
Make
kind
it 7.
of low key one of my favorite series.
Yeah. It's kind of got an old school feel.
Because it's big man ball. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, Milwaukee, what they did was they changed their lineup up. You know, they're starting a big boy lineup with Giannis, Bobby Portis, and Brook Lopez to compete with the big lineup of Boston. So, you know, they're playing the bully ball that Boston's used to. I still got Milwaukee in this one, but much props to Boston. You know, I love the way that they withstand that first blow from Milwaukee and were able to bounce back and win that second game. But it goes back to Milwaukee now, and I got the Bucks. I got the Bucks in 6 still. All right, so the only series we got left is this Miami Heat and Philadelphia 76ers series. No Joel Embiid. Miami takes a comfortable 2-0 lead, but they going back to Philly now. Joel's coming back. How you guys feel about that?
You say he's coming back, but in what, you know, he's got the facial fracture, he's got the concussion in his back pocket, dealing with the finger injury. In what capacity is he coming back? You know,
he's definitely not 100%.
He's been willing this team to win. I mean, clearly, James Harden hasn't got the memo that Philly Nation needs him to step up. Tyrese Maxey
has, though.
He's got the memo.
Tobias a little bit too. So
you kind of feel bad for Joel. You know, he's literally putting his body on the line to will his team to where he wants them to go. And
shout out to him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Shout out to Joel, man. And let's see. Let's see if he comes back and gives him, you know, the 38, 40, 30. He may have to play 40 minutes. The Heat are a tough team, man. We mentioned teams that play defense and offense, and this is one of those.
And it's not going to get any less physical for him because Miami is a very physical team.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I think I got, you know, Miami was my pick. I got Miami in about 6. I think Miami's going to continue to do what they've been doing. But
these next 2 games, you think you got them splitting 2 each?
Next 2 games, I think it's going to go 1-1. 1-1. I think Miami's going to win 1. I think Philly's going to win 1. Philly's a good team, even though they're always on the foul line. It's just hard to see them lose that many games in a row.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, Miami takes a 2-0 lead, but I love the, obviously, addition of Joel coming back. It's a completely different team, man. I still got Philly winning this series, man. I think they pull it out in 7, man. You know, they split the season series, right? They lost the first 2, but they're going back to Philly. I think they win the next 2. I think they split they probably split all the way up until Game 7, and I think, you know, the big dogs come out to play Game 7 and
I wouldn't be surprised if Philly wins it. I still got Miami, but, you know, I think the refs are going to let Philly play a lot more. You know, we're used to seeing Joel Embiid and Harden be the top free throw shooters. I think that's going to come into play a little bit more. You know, it's unfortunate, but we're not going to see the physicality of the Bucks and Celtics. Because the refs are letting them play some 90s ball.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're going to see that in Philly. You know, Joel Embiid is going to come back. If he comes back with a face mask, like we seen LeBron and Russ,
face mask Joel,
just the face
mask Joel.
Face mask Joel might drop 40-something and like 13 rebounds.
The power of that face mask.
All right, Big J, Miami up 2-0. Who you got?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I had Philly early on going all the way to the finals. I just think that Joel injury and the lack of James Harden, I continue to say it, man. James Harden is letting his team down. You know, we talking about Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris. By the way, Tyrese Maxey might be the fastest player ever in the NBA. With the ball in his hand, it's crazy to me. But this is a veteran Miami team. You know, it's not a young team. We don't have to worry about the ups and downs of a young team. This is a veteran, been to the dance before. Miami team up 2-0. I think I'll give Philly 1 game. I think Miami in 5, man.
Tough. Same here, Miami in 5.
Joel's beat up.
You got one of the best coaches in the league. You got one of the best controversial leaders in the league with Jimmy Butler. So we're gonna see. Shout out to Spo, man.
And similar what we were saying about, I was saying about Kevin Durant. You know, we talk about, you know, putting in the work, getting older and being able to live up to your old expectations. And I think we're kind of seeing that with James Harden. You know, we're talking about a guy that never really took his physical health, his physical abilities to the next level. He never was a guy to be first in the gym, last to leave. He's always out clubbing, partying. You know, that's what we're hearing through the rumor mill. I think we're kind of seeing the signs of that. His body's starting to break down. He's not as quick. His first step is not really there anymore. He's kind of living by trying to get to the foul line.
Nope.
You know, that's where he's making his money. With this Miami team, it's not going to be enough.
No.
I'm sorry.
Harden is not passionate like how everybody else is about basketball.
Right.
He doesn't go to sleep and he's thinking in the back of his head like, damn, I just lost this game. I just blew it. I had this turnover. I think before bed, he's not. That's not what he's thinking. He's thinking about
he's too drunk.
hitting up the clubs in Miami
Getting out
with a little
drunk
baby
before bed.
And this
Like I
is,
said, I think I got Philly coming back to win this based off of what we've been pounding and Joel Embiid being the MVP and him taking over this series. But you're right. Miami's making it super tough on James Harden. We knew it, though. We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
They're a physical defensive team. I mean, Duncan Robinson doesn't even get minutes anymore because he doesn't play enough defense.
too soft. You too soft, bro. You too light.
I mean,
right
but
there.
yeah, man, between Jimmy and PJ Tucker and Gabe Vincent, these guys are defensive monsters. Yeah, they're going to make this entire series hard for James Harden.
It's tough, man. It's crazy seeing Jimmy guarding somebody. You switch, you got Bam. You switch, you got PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare right there.
Sure
And
is.
this is all going down. You know, we don't know when Kyle Lowry's coming back. Kyle Lowry's a champ. Kyle Lowry got the experience, so that's tough.
And give Tyler Hero some love as well, man. We're talking about a guy that we're talking about most improved. He's probably should have been in the conversation as well. You know, he stepped up this year. You know, we saw it early on in the year. We were questioning whether it was going to, you know, withstand, and it did. He's playing well. Cool.
6th man of the year.
Most improved player candidates in this discussion alone. I mean, we might as well wrap it up. I mean, Ja Morant wins it, but there's been so many people that have said Ja Morant shouldn't even be in this conversation because he's already a superstar, right? So who do you guys really think the most improved player should have gone to? Ja obviously thought it should have gone to Desmond Bane, dropping the trophy off of his house.
You know, yeah, man, this is an argument, man. You can have both sides of the argument. You can talk about the young, unproven player that comes out of nowhere and doubles his points per game average, or you could talk about the superstar on the team who elevates his game. You know, similar like Ja Morant, for example. You know, he had averaging 19.1 points last year. Now he's up to 27.4 points. That's an improvement.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, where's the line? Where do we draw the line as far as it has to be a superstar or it has to be an underproven player? Like, it's difficult.
I got to throw Ja Morant up there. Obviously, you know, he won, but I do think Tyrese Maxey needs a lot of love and more consideration. He went from like 7 points to over 20. But the only thing I hold against that, even though he was my pick, is Maxey had a lot of minute differences from last year. He was playing like, let's say 20 minutes a game compared to last year.
Yeah.
Ja Morant's playing the same amount of minutes from last year. Even though, you know, Ja is arguably one of the MVPs of the league, maybe not the MVP, but seeing what Memphis did, he's an MVP type player.
Right.
So it's like, you know, as far as most improved, you was a star last year, you're a star this year. Now you're a better star this year. When you bring up players like Jordan Poole and Maxey, we didn't really even know about them too much last year. Poole was playing 2K at the crib last year, damn near.
Man, and that's the thing is how do you have this conversation without even mentioning Jordan Poole? Like he's the X factor on this Golden State Warrior team.
For sure.
He was playing in the G League last year.
Crazy.
And my man is averaging 20 plus points per game. He's like, he held ship while Clay was out. He held ship while Steph was out. You know, like, and the craziest part is the three people we're talking about outside of Ja, Desmond, Maxey, and Jordan Poole, none of them were even on the ballot. It was Ja, DeJounte Murray, and Darius Garland were the top three.
That's crazy.
So, you know, those are all all-stars. So I like the idea of giving one of these guys, you know, the edge as far as, you know, most improved. Those are all all-stars. They made the all-star team. They got their trophy already.
I mean, if you had to break it down on like a points level, like, all right, for Ja Morant's situation, like how many points goes towards his most improved player, most improved player of the year, and how many points goes towards the most valuable player? Like we talk about, you know, you say Ja Morant was a superstar last year, but you know, similar to like we've seen teams like in like Atlanta with Trae Young, like his team was in the play-in last year, and they won the play-in, and got in the first round and lost in the first round. They went from the play-in to the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. I mean, yeah, a lot had to do with Ja, but also with Desmond Bane's improvement as well.
Facts. They should have been co-most improved over there. That's what they should have done for the first time for the Memphis Grizzly boys.
And in a way, I think that's what we kind of saw, where Ja Morant gets the award, but he ends up giving it to Desmond Bane. Yeah. So I think Ja Morant kind of agrees with all of us in a way, like, yeah, it should probably be, for the lesser known talent award. At the end of the day, it's all good to be. I mean, it's good for the NBA to have these guys. I mentioned Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's another one. From what he was able to do with 15 points a game, now he's up to 20 as the second option, third option on his team.
And if Jordan Poole didn't have to start so many games, he would definitely be the 6th man of the year, man.
For sure.
But yeah, man, I love the Poole party they have in the Golden State. That's for sure.
I gotta salute Jordan Poole. The first round of the playoffs, he led a team, and you got Curry and Clay and Draymond, and Jordan Poole is leading that squad to the second round. He has the highest his 3-point percentage is crazy. Like when you see like high 40s, 50% from 3 and around 50, something like that field goal percentage, like that's like KD. Last year, KD.
That guy's a bucket. All I know is he's going to get a bag somewhere.
Yeah, he's shooting more efficiently than half the league right now in the playoffs. So I do got to shout out Jordan Poole. I had my doubts last year and this year, but Jordan Poole is especially more efficient than anyone.
Especially coming from the G League. That's huge.
All right, so we're going to touch it back into football. My man Javi had to slide, but we got a sub in over in the starting center spot. We'd like to welcome for the first time to the show my man Steve. What's up, man?
What's up?
Doyle.
Thank you.
What's up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. We're going to cover this NFL football draft.
Yeah.
What's your team, man?
Birds all day. Grew up outside Philadelphia. I went to Temple University in downtown.
I'm on this panel with 2 birds.
With my boy Hassan Reddick. He actually went to school the same time I went to school at Temple University. So,
very nice.
That was fun seeing him come back home.
Very cool.
Yeah.
New Eagle, Hassan Reddick.
Very cool. All right, well, I mean, least I could do is get this guy a big blue Giants hat for you. Not Giants. I meant JV Sports.
Come on. You ain't going to have midnight green. You ain't going to have black for me?
Welcome to the team. Welcome to the team, man.
It's all right. It's all right.
See how they do us, man.
Listen.
Hey, man, look,
when you in a Giants house, what do you expect?
We G-men around here. But, we'll respectfully start with those Eagles.
Woo!
I think they came to the conclusion they don't know how to draft receivers.
Clearly. I mean, Jalen Reagor, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, great move. I love the move.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. And it's something that AJ Brown talked about when he came out about his mental health issues and things like that, how he reached out to one of his friends. And I'd bet dollars to donuts all day, that friend was Jalen Hurts. Him and Jalen Hurts, they're tight. They're boys, I think that's who he was talking to. I think it's going to bring in a lot of really good chemistry between the two. So I like the move. It gives Devontae Smith a more experienced wide receiver for him to learn from. It gives a safety blanket. So now you got 2 good wide receivers there. The move up to 13 for me, I like it. I'm a little hesitant on it, though. I think the big thing about Jordan Davis here is he needs to get his conditioning up. He needs to get that weight a little bit under control, not eat so many Swedish fish. But I like that move. It's good. Fletcher Cox, they released him. They brought him back for a year. It's clear to me that Jordan Davis is going to be his replacement. So you expect Fletcher Cox to be the consummate professional, to be the guy who's like, this is how we do things in the NFL.
True indeed. And didn't have to give up too much more capital outside of the mid-first round pick for AJ Brown. You guys gave up a third as well, right?
Third, yep.
So, I mean, overall, you guys you happy with the Philly draft?
Yeah, I mean, 3rd round, being able to steal Nakobe Dean. Super great. And then even in the 2nd round, taking Beef Jurgens, a guy built after Jason Kelsey, it's something where the Eagles organization even went to Jason and were like, listen, man, can you stick around for a year, scout out some centers, tell us what you think? And that was Kelsey's guy. So yeah, the draft overall, I would definitely say the Eagles draft was really good. It was a really good draft. not anything that I can really gripe about, moan about. I mean, I got to give Howie Roseman his props for this draft.
Y'all heard it here first. I had to get on. I had to get on the line. I had to call another Philly faithful because if y'all hear it from me, it's gonna end. Why? It's gonna go in one ear out the other. But if y'all hear it from somebody else, it may click. So we touched it. AJ Brown coming to Philly. If y'all go back show after show after show after show, it became a thing on the show where I'm asking, begging, pleading for a veteran wide receiver. And what does Howie do? He listens to your boy. He brings us a veteran wide receiver, 24-year-old stud wide receiver in AJ Brown. I'm ecstatic about it, guys. I'm absolutely ecstatic. You mentioned the relationship with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown.
Yeah.
I definitely want to bring up a story that I found out after the trade, after the draft. That in 2019, when AJ Brown was drafted, he had a draft party. He was a second-round pick. Mm-hmm. He had a draft party. Family around, family, friends. They showed a video of his draft party. He's throwing a football, and he gets the phone call from Tennessee, who calls in to draft him, and who is right there by his side,
throwing him the
football with him, no other than Jalen Hurts. So the relationship is there. The chemistry's already in place.
Yep.
Sure indeed. I'm so happy, man.
You got to be ecstatic as a Philly fan. No scares as far as injury, though. I mean, stud wide receiver, but, checkered injury past. So that doesn't scare you at all. I mean, he hasn't had a single 1,100-yard season, a couple 1,000-yard seasons, but, right now it seems like he's hyped up to be, this next level player, Have we seen enough from him?
I think we have. We're talking about a wide receiver. We've seen multiple wide receivers get traded this offseason.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill.
I think it's been the most any offseason.
For sure, 100%. But what AJ Brown brings that these other guys like Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams is he's entering his prime.
Right.
We're about to see the best AJ Brown that we probably will ever see in the next 2 to 3 years.
Right. Mm-hmm. And agreed, the whole chemistry factor with Jalen Hurts is going to be, good for them.
Now for him personally as a performer, as a wide receiver, he's going from one of the most run-heavy offenses in the league to another pretty run-heavy offense in the league.
Right.
But how much of that was because of, the players we had around Jalen at the time? That's why we were forced to run the ball. Maybe now we can let it loose a little bit because now we got, you mentioned Devontae Smith, now AJ Brown, and Greg Ward and the other players that we have.
Quez
Watkins. I think for a football move, I think this is great because what also AJ Brown brings is that run, blocking. He's a big boy. He's going to bring some run blocking that's going to help the run game on the outside.
Fights for those 50-50 balls.
Speaking of run blocking, I am tired of hearing about these Eagles already. My G-men, we go and get Evan Neal. Hey, look, I'm not going to let you guys just keep going on and on about these Eagles and me not get in the fact that the Giants probably had, I'd say, the second best first round. I mean, hey.
Yeah, no.
Getting Thibodeau with the number 5 pick and then Evan Neal with the number 7 pick. I'm also not mad at, Flott, our, third round pick, safety. Not so happy with the wide receiver pick.
Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
I mean, he's all of 5'3". He's like Muggsy Bogues on the field. But I mean, but we'll see what he translates into. Yeah. But overall, as a Giants fan, I'm over here ecstatic about our picks in the first round. Saquon finally has a run blocker to follow behind a freak in Evan Neal. And then, we did a good job of also addressing other defense later on in the draft too. So, hey, G-men are excited as well. Okay?
I would agree with you. You guys had a really, really great draft. The other New York team, though,
they were
aggressive, and I am here for it. Taking Sauce Gardner with their 4th pick, cornerback. They got the sauce. They might get lost in the sauce. You never know. But 4th pick overall, they take Sauce Gardner. Then 6 picks later, it's
surprising pick, by the way. A lot of mock drafters had Sauce more towards the 10, 11 range,
11,
but
12,
that was surprising. But honestly, they get gifted Sauce Gardner because of what Houston did before them, taking Derek Stingley at number 3, which Sauce Gardner, who was claimed as the number 1 corner in the draft.
That was a shocking pick.
That was great.
Both corners.
And then 10th. They grab Garrett Wilson out of Ohio.
Ohio State.
Second receiver off the board.
Great move there. And then, what really, really shocked me was them jumping back into the first round, going at 26, getting Jermaine Johnson, defensive end.
It shocked me, but I think it was great for them. I think that allowed them to steal this first round, man. That was a great draft.
And then grabbing Breece Hall,
number one running back
off the board.
You can argue that the New York Jets took the number 1 or number 2 player from each of the positions that they drafted.
Yeah,
number 1 corner, number 1 wide receiver, number 1 running back, and I'm not gonna say number 1 Jermaine Johnson, but he was definitely in the conversation of the top edge rushers in the draft. Big moves by the Jets. To go back, I know you try to block us talking Eagles. I definitely want to go back because there was a gentleman on the Eagles staff by the name of Joe Douglas. I think he's head of our player personnel.
Yes,
now he is the Jets general manager.
So
I
you
knew
can see how the green operates. Gangrene or midnight green.
Shouts to Joe Douglas. We miss you over here in Philly, but Howie's got us looking good. Yeah. But definitely the Jets. Outside, the Giants stole the show early in the draft.
Yes.
Sitting back, sitting pretty, and taking the guys that you're supposed to take was definitely surprising. But the Jets kind of, stole the show towards the rest of the draft, telling the story that they told.
Yeah,
it was it's definitely exciting. What the Giants did, I definitely give an A+ grade, man.
Oh, agreed.
What you guys did was good. I mean, you still are at the bottom on the mountain of relevancy in my eyes, especially in the NFC East, because you got to figure out the quarterback situation and the Saquon Barkley situation. But there's definitely some excitement.
We'll see this year. We'll see it 2 times this year, gentlemen.
Definitely trending in the right direction. I'll give you that.
For sure.
But also in that AFC East, you guys were mentioning those Jets. Talk to me about those Patriots.
Reaching on a guard. I mean, you had the biggest reaction.
This one's for you. Bling. This one's for you.
It was definitely a strange pick in my eyes. Cole Strange out of Tennessee Chattanooga. Tennessee Chattanooga. Sometimes I think when you think or you are the smartest man in the room, it kind of is a gift and a curse at the same time. I think Bill Belichick kind of thinks he's
Howie Roseman?
No. He kind of thinks he's the smartest man in the room. Like, I got these guys. I'm going to take this kid, Cole Strange, out of Tennessee Chattanooga in the first round of the NFL draft. And then to follow that up, you mentioned the Wan'Dale Robinson pick in the second round for the Giants. Another second round pick in the draft was Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver out of Baylor. When you have George Pickens, he was the fastest player in the combine. Tyquan Thornton was. He ran the fastest 40. But when you have players like George Pickens and Sky Moore on the board, and you're the Patriots who need wide receiver help, and you take Tyquan Thornton, this goes back to the mastermind, Bill Belichick, thinking he's the smartest man in the room. I didn't agree. I hated the Patriots draft.
Excuse me. Since we're going back to teams, he's right. I can't stand that pick for the Giants. I definitely wish they would have gone with either George Pickens or Sky Moore at that second round pick. But any other teams you guys like maybe in the AFC?
Talking about picks, that you liked, I enjoyed. It wasn't quite the name that I mentioned on last week's show, but the Buffalo Bills. We mentioned them looking down their roster. It's like, we really don't have any many needs, so let's trade out of the first round. Let's trade back. And then they end up taking James Cook, running back out of Georgia, pass catching, fast.
Baby brother.
Younger brother of Dalvin Cook in the backfield with Josh Allen. Man, that offense is going to be
explosive.
It's going to be explosive.
Dynamic, to say the least.
Well, you hope. I mean, you always have to worry about the second brother coming into the league being worse than the first brother.
True.
The Matthews brothers, for instance. That's one of those that, as an Eagles fan, I'm always kind of like,
didn't quite live up to play.
Yeah. So I think that the fact that
you guys are hurt. That's what it is.
No. So I think you notice it worse when they play different sides of the ball rather than when they play the same side of the ball.
No, for sure.
The Kelsey brothers being the one that worked there. So we'll see what he does.
Yeah, I like the Cook, and especially the draft capital. Him being a second round pick kind of puts the stamp of approval that he's going to be involved heavily in this offense. Devin Singletary is slower, not really known for his explosion. Zach Moss is a bigger back, goal line back.
And we kind of saw the end of Zach Moss. Like they kind of faded him towards the end of last season anyway.
James gives him something different.
I think we saw this pick coming. They had to be going with a running back at some point in time because they were fading. Yeah. They were fading Zach Moss all the end of last season, and we were begging for them to run the ball. And who were they running it through? Just Devin Singletary? We knew that was going to hold up too long.
And I feel like they really miss having Shady there. You know, having LaShawn McCoy there, doing the things that Shady did is what you're going to see them using James Cook for.
Yeah, I see. I'm watching the film, getting prepped for this draft. I see, I'm going to throw a name out there. It could be a reach, but I see some Jamal Charles. I see an undersized speedster in the right situation. We saw what Jamal Charles was able to do in KC. I see some Jamal Charles in James Cook's game.
I like that.
The perfect transition for me would be, you mentioned Sky Moore. How in the world did the NFL let Sky Moore fall into the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs? I do not understand.
You get rid of Mr. Fly and you bring in Sky.
Another burner for the KC.
And
Patty Mahomes found his Tyreek Hill replacement. I mean, what KC did was magnificent drafting. You know, we pegged the wide receiver to them all season. Right. They need a wide receiver. Right. Well, they get to the draft and they're sitting there and all the wide receivers are gone. Yeah. Instead of reaching for one, what do? They address the other side of the ball. They address the defense. Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis. They get their defensive help. And then in the second round, because of the Patriots and the Giants and other teams that take these other bummy wide receivers, they get Sky Moore. Small school.
Excuse the G-Man for pulling up Philly for 1 year.
Sky Moore, I mean, still to be determined as far as his production level. He is a small school coming from Western Michigan. Same school as Corey Davis. Yeah. But he does give you the speed, the route running, the separation ability. I think that's what Patrick Mahomes needs, man.
Yeah, and I like how you brought up defense and teams taking defensive picks. And since we're talking about the AFC still, the Ravens. The Ravens are trying to look like what they did in the mid-2000s. You know, they go out there with the 14th pick. They take Kyle Hamilton, safety out of Notre Dame.
Just the gift wrapped in a bowl.
I mean,
maybe
it's
the next
great,
Ed Reed, right?
Right, looking for that next Ed Reed right there with Kyle Hamilton. And then in the second round, they take David Ojabo, the outside linebacker. You know, outside linebacker, not middle linebacker, but you know, they're hoping, I'm sure, that he could be a playmaker like Ray Lewis was for him. You know?
I mean, they're definitely not looking to air it out anymore.
No, they sent
Marquise
Hollywood
Brown in a deal to the Cards.
Yeah, I wonder if the Cards kind of knew with Hopkins just getting that suspension for the PEDs. I wonder if they kind of had a little, we're going to lose our guy here. Let's go get something that kind of replace that.
I can see that.
Yeah, but you know, moving Hollywood,
insight.
Going with that ground and pound mentality. I think that's something that we as Eagles fans growing up, that was always ground and pound. So it's something that I like.
No, for me, I agree 100%. If it wasn't for the Jets doing what the Jets did, I think the Baltimore Ravens stole the draft. For me personally, you know, we mentioned pre-draft, the needs for the Baltimore Ravens was corner, offensive line, defense, anything on defense, but offensive line. You know, we mentioned, you know, a Ojabo pick in the second round, but trading back into the first round, take a Tyler Lindenbaum,
huge
center who, you know, center out of Iowa, who's, you know, the Ravens have been missing that Marshall Yanda replacement. That, you know, Marshall Yanda was always a staple in that offensive line for years, and ever since he retired, they really haven't found anybody to replace him, and trading back up, addressing that need, also getting David Ojabo, who probably would have been the best edge rusher in the draft if he didn't tear his Achilles in his pro day, falling to him. It's just Ravens are going to Raven. This is what great organizations do. They don't, you know, trade up for,
like you said, man, they find pieces and they mold them. Yeah. And be honest with you, a couple of these guys, they don't even need the molding, especially Lindenbaum. He's ready to step right in and probably 100%. Be their guy, Lamar's protector for years to come.
Move some meat around on that front line, you know, in those trenches, you know. So, you know, with trench warfare being as big as it is, you know, if you've ever played football, the saying is always, you got to win the war up front to win the game, right? You know, it all starts up front. It doesn't matter if you've got the fastest, the strongest, the most accurate quarterback. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good your wide receivers, you know, hands are. It doesn't matter how good your running back is. if they can't get the ball out, if they can't, if the ball's not in the air, if they don't have the blockers, it doesn't matter. So I really like that center pick for the Ravens. I do think that is a really good move by them.
Big pick for the Ravens. They had a good draft. Obviously, they weren't worried about speed because they got rid of Marquise Brown. But the rest of the league was.
Yeah.
Fastest wide receiver combine translates into 6 wide receivers taken in the top 20 picks.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Big draft for wide receivers. Not so big a draft for quarterbacks outside of number 20 pick. 20 picks, wide receivers. Number 20 pick, Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh Steelers.
2 picks.
From Pitt. How many picks can a Pittsburgh pick? And then they go and get George Pickens in the second round.
Yeah. All Pickens and Pitts there.
But as far as quarterbacks, man, it wasn't a huge quarterback draft. No. Kenny Pickett goes to Pittsburgh at the number 20 pick. And
I do like that.
Outside of that, we don't see another one for the rest of the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the Kenny Pickett one, mainly because talk about having home field advantage. You know, coming from Pitt, playing in Heinz Stadium, to being on the Pittsburgh Steelers, playing in Heinz Stadium. I think that'll be a good transition for him. I think it'll be something really easy for him. You know, it'll feel like home. You know, so I do like that move by them. For that reason, you know.
Yeah. Now coming into this draft, I mean, we touched on, and you heard it all around the the media. Is like this draft class for quarterbacks isn't the greatest. You know, it's not. There's not a standout in this class. You know, yeah, they take Kenny Pickett in the first round, but if they would have known, I know it's hindsight's always 20/20. If they would have known that the next quarterback wouldn't have been taken to the third round, would they have used that pick on Kenny Pickett? It's hard to tell, man, but. I do agree. I think the Kenny Pickett pick is good. He's going into an organization, a winning organization.
Yep.
You know, we mentioned Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. Veterans around him. They add another weapon with
George Pickens.
And George Pickens. Chase Claypool goes up and announces his successor, his replacement, and George Pickens.
Saw him die a little inside, you know.
A little bit.
By the organization like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know why move Chase Claypool.
I don't know why they did him like that.
You're right. You're not wrong.
That's what the Steelers do. You know, they're always going to take a wide receiver in the second round. They've done it for years. But yeah, this quarterback class just didn't live up to the hype. It didn't. We saw the one quarterback in the first. We didn't see one. This next quarterback off the board was Desmond Ritter, going to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Which is big for them. I think that's huge for them to get him in the third round.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. It could be. They brought over Marcus Mariota in free agency.
Yeah.
And Desmond Ritter, in some way, shape, or form, kind of resembles Marcus Mariota. You know, he have the electric speed. The arm is there at times, but you know, seeing what he did in Cincinnati to use a third round pick, it's not enough capital to where if things don't work out, they can't address the situation or the position next year.
I love it because, you know, they go and get Drake London in the first round. And, you know, it seems like a lot of times when the quarterback and the wide receiver come into the same situation the same year, they tend to become buddies. So I could see them gaining some chemistry, those two, for sure.
He's definitely got 2 twin towers to throw to with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. So they're definitely, you know, the ability to do it is there. As long as Marcus Mariota is, I think it's going to be a battle to see who's going to actually win that job.
Right. And speaking of Atlanta, man, I like that Tyler Algier pick in the late rounds as well. They cut Mike Davis just recently. So look out for Tyler Algier to maybe be a nice sleeper pick.
And in Atlanta, you can't even forget about the fact that they still have Calvin Ridley. You know, he's not going to be on the field this year after gambling, you know, scenario betting on games. But
by the way, it's probably the best thing that happened to the Eagles.
Probably because we wouldn't have AJ Brown right now. But don't let this man know. But, you know, they'll have Calvin Ridley next year, you know, and it gives them time for their quarterback, for their wide receiver, for everything to kind of gel together, become a cohesive unit. And I'll tell you, you know, with Tom Brady retiring, unretiring, you know, you never know how many more games he's got. The Saints, you know, they did go out there, they get Chris Olave, they do bring the Honey Badger back home.
Right. Carolina's
there, you know. So I think that division could be blown wide open in the next year or two.
I can see that. Sure.
I definitely see that as a very interesting division to watch.
Speaking of Carolina, they had a nice sneaky late pick, third round. They go and trade up to get Matt Corral.
Yeah.
You know, they used up their 2nd and 4th round pick this year on Sam Darnold. So I guess 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round, they went quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go Carolina.
Bad organization is going to do it. You know, the number 1 quarterback of this class on some people's boards was Malik Willis. I think he falls into a great situation. We touched on past shows the future of Ryan Tannehill. You know, we started to see the decline towards the end of the year. And, you know, give Malik a year or 2 to sit behind and learn the game. Mm-hmm. We could be walking into a situation where Malik and Treylon Burks are the future of that Tennessee Titans organization.
Yeah. I can see that. And that's actually a good move that I like that Tennessee made as well. You know, the minute, I mean, obviously, they knew what they were doing when they traded AJ and they replaced 100%. Him with like the very next pick with Treylon Burks. That's a huge pickup for them, man.
Sure.
Big boy, man. Speaking of huge, right?
And, you know, speaking of, you know, Tennessee, Derrick Henry, you don't know how many more years he's got left in the tank, but let's say something happens to Tannehill this year and Malik Willis is starting there. You know, teams love the RPO. Malik Willis was, I want to say, the fastest quarterback on the board at all, period, in general for the class. So, you know, it kind of takes a workload off Derrick Henry if he were to come in. Yeah. And you could do some real funny shenanigans there, because I mean Treylon Burks is no slouch himself when it comes to speed. They're a real young, fast team. It's just a matter if that's something that Mike Vrabel wants to go with.
Sure indeed. All right, gentlemen. With that's you know the main teams. Are there any other winners or losers you guys might want to mention in this draft outside of maybe Aaron Rodgers still not having a wide receiver over in Green Bay? I mean, they
Rodgers.
Yeah, they bring in, you know, Christian Watson, right? But I mean, 2 first-round picks and don't even look for a wide receiver. I'm a little disappointed in those Green Bay Packers.
I mean, again, the run of wide receivers went pretty quick. Yeah. Especially with Detroit trading up from 32 to take Jameson Williams. I kind of disagree in a way. I like what Green Bay did. They didn't force the issue. They took the 2 defenders, you know, in the first round, and then they come around and take Christian Watson in the second round. Now, I do agree. I think Christian Watson over guys like we mentioned, Sky Moore and George Pickens kind of was like issue to me. I kind of seen these guys before. When Christian Watson, small school, North Dakota State, speedster, tall, but we've seen guys like this before.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. And I'm not saying Green Bay had a bad draft. Right. I said Aaron Rodgers lost in this draft. That's no weapons for that guy.
I think there's a couple teams that you could nominate. Dolphins being one. You know, they didn't pick until the end of Friday night to the beginning of Saturday. You know,
but they get Tyreek Hill.
They get Tyreek. Yeah, but I mean, I get where you're coming from, but there's a reason why KC wanted to ship from him. Not only the money aspect of it, but, you know, they want to get younger, you know, and it's always a battle in the NFL, always to get younger. I'm just saying I think they spent a little too much to get Tyreek Hill.
Oh, for sure.
I think they overpaid a little bit in that trade to get Tyreek Hill. Not being able to go out there and get yourself a wide receiver in the second round. You know, they didn't have their first round pick. Right. But, you know, not being able to even go out there and get a guy in the second round to be a burner. You know, they could have been a team who, instead of going after Tyreek Hill in trade, they could have been the team to end up with Sky Moore.
They must have not got the memo. There was a lot of speed in this draft.
Yeah, you know, so you know, they're a team that you could potentially consider losers. The Broncos, you know, they weren't there on Thursday night.
They gave Russell Wilson.
I think they gave Russell Wilson. I mean, you'll see that as the repeating factor from this. You know,
if you get a franchise quarterback, I think you're happy.
All right, gentlemen, well, that's all the time we got for today. Steve, appreciate you helping us wrap up a dope NFL draft.
Appreciate being here on the JV Sports Room.
Love the JV Blue. Awesome. I love the Big Blue.
Wish it was green, man. Wish it was green.
And Big J, appreciate you holding down that Kobe corner.
Kobe corner, we in here. He's my hater blockers. You know, people in the comments hating on your boy, so got to put them on, man.
Oh, okay. And as usual, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check us out at sportjv.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And like and subscribe us on YouTube. Hit that button. And obviously, if you want to support the show, you can cash app us at $JVSPORTSROOM. And as usual, I got a quote for you guys from legendary Ed Reed. To the young, work, and then work some more. Thank you guys for watching.